On the survival show today, Minecraft goes all scary horror-like with its Pale Garden update. We've also got news about Dawn of Defiance and its roadmap plans for 2025. And a game that's been in early access 5 years finally comes out today, Deadside. If you're looking for new PvP, PvE experience similar to DayZ, Scum and maybe a bit of Rust, then you might want to check this out. And a first look at Farm Folks, a curious mix of cozy farming meets automation and shooting other players in the face in dark, dank forests. And what the heck is going on with Scrap Mechanic? It's been 2 years since their last major update, and suddenly out of nowhere today, they've just got an updated and hopefully making the game run better. But what does the future hold, and why do they keep going silent? So all that, let's go, it's the survival show. So Minecraft's Pale Garden update went live a couple of days ago, offering a brand new mob, pretty much the opposite of an Enderman. If you look at it, you'll be okay. As soon as you take your eyes off of it, it might come and do you some harm as you explore a dark and gloomy new biome in the Pale. It's got all new woods, all new structures, and yes, it's definitely going to be something interesting where they'll have to, only way to kill these guys might be to take out its living heart and chop down a certain tree. It's very, very different from Minecraft, and I'm here for it. Also, finally adding bundles to the game, effectively ways that you can store resources within little mini bags, so you can literally carry so much more now in Minecraft. That's about the cliff notes for this. It's been years since I touched Minecraft, honestly. I play it with my kids now and then, but the idea of me sitting down and trying to do a full let's play or just get back into the game seems pretty preposterous as it's so oversaturated. But one day, just for fun, as this was one of the first true survival games to early get me into the genre, I would love to sit down and just take a good play and experience all the updates and changes it's had over the years. Dawn of Defiance had a nice little quality of life update last week that I told you guys about, or maybe 2 weeks ago, also adding brand new skeleton mobs. Their latest reveal at the Winter Expo game show highlights the progress they've made since they came into early access during the summer. Also teases what's next. They've also announced a huge roadmap, pretty much giving details about the biome changes and everything they're going to be adding over the next year. The first real major content drop will be the second half of 2025, so pretty much April through to June. It does look pretty cool, and they're definitely leaning more into what I've always thought they should do, absolutely add tons more mythological creatures. The update is called Sisters of the Deep, and it's going to be also revamping the Dark Woods. And that seems to be their focus. They're going to be revisiting 3 of their major biomes. So maybe people are expecting the locked off regions to be worked on in the game at the moment. There's areas you can't really go. There's a visible force field. But it does look like they really want to make sure everything's as good as it can be for the biomes they've already got so far before maybe revealing more about what that will be in the future. This has all been laid out in a dev blog roadmap, and you know what, I quite like it. It really highlights very clearly what they're working on, what's complete, what's in progress, having taken on board feedback from tons of different places. A creative director goes through it all and lists exactly how they're going to progress now with their living roadmap. And I'm really hoping they keep this updated. That's all people need to see. Not so much worry about when updates are going to hit, as long as you're communicating exactly what kind of content you're working on and rough ideas of what to expect. There is a tiny team making this game, literally only 12 people, so updates aren't going to be thick and fast, and I know that might be a bit of a disappointment to some, as Dawn of Defiance did have a good amount of content, but you could whittle through it pretty quickly, and it was pretty basic at its core. Little updates they've had have improved that for sure, but yeah, definitely needs a lot more in the future to make it one of them games that you return to over and over again. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with the roadmap plans, pretty pleased with the tease of this update, and I'll be definitely covering in the future. Survival crosses with so many other genres, none more so maybe than the cozy crafting farming genre. Basically games where you go around planting lots of seeds, hopefully reaping what you sow, and trying to get in the pants of your local town crier. I don't know, something like that, Stardew Valley-esque. At various points, some of these games have appealed to me, and then I've realised they're actually boring as heck, because I always need that little bit of action, that little bit of danger. So at first glance, Farm Folks, which just got its full official reveal trailer shown off at the Winter Game Show, does seem to be ticking all the wrong boxes for me. It does have all that coziness, it does have you playing with your friends, gathering resources and roaming around a beautiful, vibrant, colourful world, but nothing we haven't really seen in a billion other games by this point. Grow your crops, build the farmyard of your dreams, and maybe a cozy little cottage, you get the idea. But peer deeper and you start to see a lot more customization options than you've maybe seen in other games. You start to see even more decor, and a bit further in, automation appears, and this is where it really started to grab my interest. The ability to set up custom production lines, to ship all your fruit and veggies maybe, to potentially sell while you explore the other cozy stuff. Then they add in these sandmobiles, which are pretty cool, but this is where it really went into overdrive. A cozy game with some danger. Fun Folks is promising actual PvP combat, as well as taking on lots of horrendous looking little blobs in the dark forest. This is where it really matches up so many different genres and hopefully combines them into something that might be pretty good. It's made by Creativo. They've published a bunch of games in the last few years, getting behind certain indies. I'm really hoping that this game is going to be something good. It's got a Kickstarter that's happening soon, I do believe, and fingers crossed it will be a case of seeing a release in 2025. So after 5 years development and actually appearing just before Scum releases in 1.0, Deadside is now available as a full-fledged game, no longer in early access. It's adding a slew of new content, including brand new vehicles, much better base building, and a whole ton of new locations to go and explore. This is a PvE, PvP type game, and no zombies or mutants. Instead, you'll be facing off against other bandits, as well as of course other players. All the fresh reviews for today are seemingly positive, and it's bumping its score up to 84% overwhelmingly positive in the last 30 days, and the player base seems to be swelling as well. Nearly 3,000 peak players, one of its best scores it's had in about 3 or 4 years. So I'm sure that will go even higher by the weekend, and if you're looking for something a bit different from DayZ, take a break in the safe zones or not have to worry about the groans and moans from a zombie, then you might want to check out Deadside. I do believe it's 75% off at the moment as well. I might give this a check once I'm back off a little mini holiday in London. It was only yesterday I told you guys that Raft is now available on Xbox and PlayStation. Shadow dropped out of nowhere after a whole year without no single word about when to expect it. It just dropped. So people really happy about that. I've already made some starter guides and live streamed it, so go and check it out on my JPG Crafted channel. But the publisher of that game is Axolot, and they are the makers of Scrap Mechanic. In fact, you would have seen or heard me actually criticising them for not giving any news about their own game. And lo and behold, today, for the first time in literally ages, we've got an update. This is the first game update for 2 years, and one of only 2 dev blogs they've done in a whole year. I regularly criticise games like Ark and Fun Pimps with 7 Days to Die about the way they communicate stuff or always got delays, but Scrap Mechanic just is flying under the radar considering it's so bad how they treat their fanbase. But yet the physics and wedge update just came out of nowhere, and as I said, it's the first one this game's received, which is still in early access and has been since 2016. I've got some really good friends in the Valheim dev team that I've come to know over the years, and I fully respect it's going to take them a while. It's probably going to be 5 years before that game reaches 1.0. I get how small developers struggle sometimes to get content made, but one thing that Valheim, Iron Gate have always done is communicate. That's why I'm so harsh, and I'm going to be starting to be more critical on games like Scrap Mechanic and Axolot, because that is the bare minimum. You can spend a long time, absolutely ages trying to get updates working. Maybe it's just not coming together. You have to start over again. Whatever the reason for your delay, whatever the reason for how long it takes, I'm mostly going to be okay with that. What I cannot forgive though is just not talking to your fan base. And I just don't understand what's going on with Axolot. They've had periods where they give loads of info showing all sorts of stuff that could be coming in their next Chapter 2 update, which should be pretty much 1.0. That's what they said about 2 years ago, that the next chapter, where they're adding a whole host of new robots, fire to the game, brand new underground caverns and a lot more, will be part of their 1.0 offering. So it's understandable that this might take a long time, but it's just no excuse not to keep people regularly informed. Scrap Mechanic was one of the first PC games I went and bought when I've got my PC. I'd actually been making content with just a rubbish laptop and my Xbox for such a long time. Admittedly, it was a bit too complicated for me to use with keyboard and mouse at the start, but I always really envisioned playing it once it got more updates. And then when they added survival mode, I thought great, but survival mode didn't really make it that much better. It gave a huge increase in players, so they made plenty of money from people buying the game again, but it needed a lot of work and it probably needed more constant updates, and they just haven't delivered on that time and time again with delays, announcing stuff, and then lately, just going all sudden quiet. And they have sold plenty of copies. They should be able to afford certainly some sort of social media manager or community engagement person that can really actually do a lot of stuff. They published Raft, which absolutely sold millions as well. And admittedly, with the game being in early access 9 years, you'd be surprised how maybe much money 2 million copies will actually get you, considering the price of it. But I still think they probably have made enough to maintain and hopefully try and give news to their community. So, long whinge out of the way, this update includes a bunch of pretty much optimizations and changing how physics work. Music to a lot of Scrap Mechanic players' ears, as it'll hopefully help combat the lag and other stuff going wrong with the game over the time its content drops added. It's such a great game. In terms of creativity, it was one of the outliers when it first came out that so many games have now tried to basically ape. I want to support it, and I've done content in the past, but it's just so hard to get behind a studio when they just don't communicate or talk to their fans. Even if they've got no news to share, at least just tell people you're still alive and working on the game. Especially when games are not complete. That is the bare minimum that you should be doing with anything that comes out. Am I wrong? Disagree with me? Let me know in the comments what you expect from games in early access. Is it okay for devs just to surprise you with updates but never really keep you in the loop about what's going on? What do you prefer? But yeah, when a game they're making and a game they're publishing both go through these huge periods without any kind of talk, it does raise eyebrows about exactly what they're up to. And that's it, Ratbags. I'll be done and dusted for the next 4 or 5 days as I'm going to London for some time away, so there won't be any new content. So hopefully the world doesn't explode with brand new survival news. I might be able to fit in one survival show that I'm waiting for a bunch of stuff to drop from the PC Gamer Show today, but that's pretty much going to be arriving tomorrow, and then that'll be it. But I will be back, the home of survival news, gameplay and guides. Until next time, Ratbags, I'll catch you later.